I am back with a brand new DCEU update for you guys, and I love these types of updates. There's been a lot of movement forward over the last week in regards to Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman in the DCEU, and I'm going to be covering all of that. I wanted to wait for the dust to settle on some of these topics so I could talk about them today in this video. Now, I don't have anything to show you guys, but the first thing I wanted to talk about was Zack Snyder's Justice League being shown in theaters via Kevin Smith. He actually bought a theater in his hometown, and he is going to be showing Zack Snyder's Justice League so that everybody can have a chance to see that film where where he lives anyway, to get that in theaters. And I would love to see Warner Brothers Discovery just release David Ayer's Suicide Squad and Zack Snyder's Justice League in theaters for people to go see and get some excitement around this, because not only would the fans who enjoyed those movies actually go see it again, but this would get everybody who is not in the know to go see these films. And David Ayer still needs his movie released, and it would tie directly in with the other DC films that were created, so it would be a nice flow that would lead into Zack Snyder's Justice League. And then show Zack Snyder's Justice League, even if you needed to do it in 2 parts. What a great way to get people excited. We've got Black Adam at the end of this month, which I'm excited for, and it is pretty much confirmed that Henry Cavill is back as Superman. And we're going to talk about what this means with these 3 characters. But, people made comments in a past video that, in fact, I made a comment, first of all, that Zack Snyder's Justice League is not widely known by, I would say, the majority of the population. A lot of people said, no, that's not true. You'd have to be living under a rock. But then some other people did confirm that, they've talked to friends and family members, and there were people who had no idea that this movie existed. So I think the first step is to get this movie a more wider universal release so that people can go see it and judge for themselves. Now, let's talk about what's happened over the last couple of days or the last week. It is confirmed that all 3 of these guys, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, and Henry Cavill, are in Hollywood filming scenes for The Flash. They've all been spotted in Hollywood. There are pictures online of this. They are there. They would only be there for one reason. We know they are currently doing reshoots for The Flash, and they are bringing in Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman into that film. Now, we also know that Superman is going to be in Black Adam. We've got Wonder Woman is going to have a cameo in The Flash. And then we have Batman, who is going to be in Aquaman 2. So they're spreading the Trinity around, and this is going to be interesting. Let's talk about what this means and how this is, going to lead to big things moving forward. And I'm going to talk about something that Mikey Sutton talked about that I think is freaking phenomenal. David Zaslav. Now, for anybody who's denying this at this stage, take a back seat. It's time for you to sit down and just enjoy the show, because you guys were all dead wrong. People said that these guys were never coming back, and in fact, they are. Now, I'm going to point to what David Zaslav said before the merger. He made comments, there are public comments out there, how he talked about how he was going to bring the Trinity forward to be the face of DC. He said these characters have not been utilized correctly, especially Superman. Superman has taken a back seat, and he said he was going to change all of that. This is him making good on that promise. And The Rock probably had a lot to do with this, but Henry Cavill is coming back as Superman. I am hoping that we do get a Trinity movie announced at some point. It would be awesome to see these 3 characters have their own film. I think this would be a $1 billion+ movie if they did decide to do this with those 3 characters. But let's talk about what this means in the short term. What this means is that for what I call the SnyderVerse, meaning for me, it's having these characters continue moving forward so that everything we've had before as canon. That's what the SnyderVerse means to me. Now, it means a lot more to other people, thinking that Zack Snyder has to come back. I'm not of the mind that Zack has to come back. I would love to see him come back. I think his movies are incredible, and that would be my ultimate goal. But I don't know how feasible that is or if that is going to happen in the future, so I can't really make comments on that. But I would love to see him come back. So anybody who says that I'm not fighting hard enough, trust me. If I could make him the head of DC, I would. But that doesn't mean he needs to come back. I think it's more about having the characters that he cast in these movies going forward. But let's talk about what Mikey Sutton talked about earlier this week. He said, now Mikey Sutton is in the know. He is definitely in the know and has been right on so many different occasions. And he came out and said that there is a Batman movie being planned with Deathstroke and Batman. And I would think that this is Ben Affleck's Batman, and I think he talked about them possibly recasting, and I didn't see the whole thing, but I think he may have possibly talked about them recasting Deathstroke, which I don't think they need to do. I really liked Joe Manganiello in that role, and we'll see where this leads. But they talked about, developing also the Legion of Doom. And, we got a little bit of this at the end of one of the DC movies. I keep forgetting which movie it was. It might have been Zack Snyder, or it might have been the theatrical release of Justice League, where they had, Lex on a boat and brought in Deathstroke, and he was basically getting ready to form the Legion of Doom. The groundwork has already been laid. This is just going to be the studio following through with what has already been created and building upon that. So I do fully believe that Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, and Henry Cavill are going to be the Trinity going forward, and they are going to be the face of the DCEU moving forward. And I think that's incredible. Anybody who's denying at this stage, like I said, you can't. How could you even deny this and say that there's no proof? They are bringing them back for these movies. It has been confirmed by the studio that Ben Affleck is in Aquaman 2, possibly Michael Keaton as well. You've got the Flash movie. They are doing reshoots, and it looks like they're bringing in all three characters of the Trinity to be in that movie as well. And then you also have Gal Gadot, who has been confirmed for Shazam. And you have Ben Affleck just coming back in general, and you got Henry Cavill coming back for Black Adam. All the groundwork has been laid. We're now getting to see a little bit of this plan get fleshed out. And if they can move forward, all they have to do at this stage is just get the cornerstone set with these characters as the Trinity, and then just build from there. They talked about how they want to make the team much bigger. At the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, we did see that Bruce Wayne was setting up, basically the Hall of Justice, and that there was going to be room for many more members, and they can now flesh some of these characters out. So Mikey Sutton has pretty much confirmed that, yes, they are looking at doing a Batman movie with Deathstroke, and these things, there's some unspecified movies coming out by DC, by Warner Brothers Discovery, that they haven't announced what these projects are. And these could be those projects coming up. If they've got these guys in Hollywood right now, they may be further along with some of these plans than we even know about. They could be doing stuff behind the scenes. I mean, if you saw what Zack Snyder was doing last Thanksgiving, he's been planning something, and he has a notepad with Final Crisis on there. So he's been working on stuff. They have been working on stuff behind the scenes, stuff we have never even seen. Now, Mikey Sutton, I'd really like to know where his sources are, where he's getting this information. But it's true, and these things are happening. And so it doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow. If you can go find those comments by Mikey Sutton. Sil Abdul had a video about this that got unlocked. They do talk about this going forward. So there's a lot of awesome stuff happening. Now, let's say Superman is not in Black Adam. I'll be the first to admit that I was wrong, and so was everybody else. But I am not a scooper. I've never claimed to be a scooper. So many people get on my case in the comments that I claim to be a scooper, and I have never made that claim, and I've in fact told people I'm not a scooper. What I do is I scour the internet, grab all the information, bring it to you guys so you don't have to go to 50 different sources to get all the information that you need. And I'm never going to be right all of the time. But I am just bringing you stuff that has been posted and stuff that may or may not be happening. What is happening is the Trinity is returning. There's no denying it at this stage. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward. All right, so there's my update for now. If there's anything big breaking news, if there are any big breaking news stories that happen this week, I will be bringing them to you in subsequent videos. I do appreciate all the support, and we will see you guys on the next video.